Today I wanted to show you 5 filmmaking gadgets that I use all the time in my work. They vary drastically in price, so let me start with the most expensive one. First is the Microsoft Surface Pro 4. I got mine about a year ago. I've used it and abused it for the past year, and it still works amazingly. It's a must-have for me because it's so small, thin, light and portable that I take it with me on all the jobs. It's almost like carrying a tablet or an iPad, but yet it's so much better because it runs a full version of Windows 10 Pro. It's great for checking footage on location or copying and making backup of my footage. The version that I bought is around $1,300. It's the 256GB hard drive version, 8GB of RAM with Intel Core i7E processor. But for the exact model of this and all the other things I'm going to mention, just check the description of this video. My Surface Pro is not the top of the line version, but it's still able to edit 4K video. Of course, I don't have the full resolution on, but at a quarter setting, it still plays smoothly, as you can see. I can edit 4K videos even when I apply some basic Lumetri color grading effects in Adobe Premiere. I obviously don't use this as my main editing machine, but just something when I need to get a quick video out or dailies of footage that I've shot. I also use Photoshop on it and Lightroom to edit my pictures. And it's actually way better than any of my other computers because of the included pen. It really makes painting over photos or doing any kind of retouching so much easier and more intuitive. I also use an app called Sketchable to do some quick drawings, especially when I have, let's say, a design idea for a film. Or when I'm doing storyboarding. I think it's the best way to do storyboards because if you make a mistake, you can quickly erase it. You can do it in layers, so you can do a very quick sort of a pass at your storyboards. Once you've decided you like them, then you can do a sort of a finer pass. It also makes it so much easier to have all my drawings directly on my computer, and this way I can email it to others that, let's say, that I'm working with on a particular film, or I can print them out. It's also great when I'm traveling, when let's say I have an idea for a film, I can write a script on it. This thing is just an overall great laptop, but it's in such a tiny format that I don't mind taking it with me. I can fit the Surface Pro, its power adapter, which is tiny, a Bluetooth mouse, which I got for it, and even this USB dock, and a few other things like a battery that will power actually this laptop for another 4 to 5 hours, and I can fit it all in this small bag. Now, the second item that I always use is a light meter. Do you need a light meter if you're starting out as a filmmaker? No, you don't. But is it helpful? Yes, and it's a must-have once you start working on bigger productions, and you have to, let's say, communicate with your lighting team quickly. So I would say if you're a beginner and you can afford to get a light meter, then you should probably get it and just start, getting used to using it. There's different light meters out there. My first one is this actually Sekonic Studio Deluxe, which I've had for around 20 years now, and it still works amazingly. It actually doesn't require any batteries, so that's a really big plus. Now the bad thing about it is that it's just not as sensitive to small amounts of light. So when I was shooting on film cameras with max ISO would be 800, it was great. But for now, since we shoot with digital sensors that shoot really high up there in ISO, even 25,000, I would say you probably want something a little bit more modern and just a light meter that's more sensitive. Here's another one that I recommend. It's the Sekonic Speedmaster L858D-U. And it's very well built, it's very accurate, actually has a lot of advanced features, but it costs around $600. Now, if you want something less expensive, then go for the Lumu Power. It's this little thing up here. It's only $250. It's an attachment for an iOS device, and it's got all the functionality of the Sekonics, plus it actually allows you to measure color temperature, which none of the other light meters do. It means that you can get perfect colors in all of your shots. You really can't beat it. The only thing that maybe isn't as good about the Lumu Power is that because it's an iOS device attachment, you got to make sure that your phone, first of all, or your device is charged, so it can last you the whole day of filming. Also, it's not as strong build, so you could accidentally break it where the lightning connector is. But if you remember to take it off before, let's say, you put the phone in your pocket, then it's not a problem. I've been using it for a few months and it still works. Okay, number 3 must-have gadget is a smartphone. It doesn't matter which one you have, and I'm assuming you probably already have one. I also use these portable battery banks to make sure that my phone doesn't die on me. I carry 2 of these actually because I have 2 phones. I got the Samsung Galaxy S8 and the iPhone 6, both great phones. Now what I like about these battery banks is that they're pretty big. They're 5,000 milliamps. And they have all the cables built right into it, so you're never going to be looking around for the right cable. There's actually 2 versions. There's a version with a lightning port and a micro USB cable, and then another version which has the USB-C cable and a regular USB. Both of them have a AC wall outlet plug built into them too. Now my phones are nothing special, but I like having both of them because having both an iOS and an Android device allows me to get all the apps that all of us filmmakers use. Now if you don't know what good filmmaking apps are out there, maybe I'll do a video about it, but for sure the most common apps that I use are the Cadrage Director Viewfinder, which allows me to quickly set up my shots, camera angles, and figure out what lens to use before I even break out my big and heavy camera rig. Also, I often use the Sunseeker app to see what the lighting situation is going to be like at any location. For example, let's say I'm indoors and I want to see when the sun is going to peek through the particular window or when it's going to set and all that stuff. Now, gadget number 4 is a multi-tool. I love using this one. This one's actually from Leatherman. And there's 2 different versions. There's a more expensive one that I got as a gift about 20 years ago. And amazingly, it still works. And it's about $80. And there's also a cheaper version that is just as useful. It only costs $30. They're great to have when you're, let's say, need to tighten up or lose some parts on your camera rig to help you adjust things, remove filters, or just anything in general to help you get stuff done when you're working with camera gear. It's really a must-have. Definitely if you want to, for example, put on or take off those screws, to attach, let's say, your camera to a tripod. Last but not least is gadget number 5, and it's a simple lens pen cleaning tool. It's actually only $8, and you'd be surprised how often a production will just stop when there's a bit of let's say dirt stuck on the lens. And it's why I always carry a lens pen in my pocket. You can use it to dust off anything. Also, you can blow some air on the lens and then let's say clean it with the reverse side of the lens pen, and it's going to remove all of the smudges and fingerprints. So again, it's a very simple thing, but in my opinion, very useful, something I always carry with me. Anyways, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, then make sure you hit that notifications bell to be notified when I have new videos. Now, for all the info on the gadgets that I showed, as always, check the description of this video or visit my website at tomantosfilms.com. See you guys later.